well, mine is Fox Night Soul Day, and I'm at Fox. And, like, what is it? I've heard about this show, and I've actually seen, like, I remember at one point I've seen one bit of it. One tiny bit of it. I think it was after watching Steven Universe or something that I saw one, like, the end bit of that. I'm like, that's a weird ending. And just like any of these shows, whether it be the Owl House, maybe not, but Adventure Time, Infinity Train, as well as maybe Star vs. I'm not entirely sure. But a lot of these shows, like, if you come in, like, in the middle of something, I'd say Steven Universe as well. I'd say probably Owl House too, maybe, but Owl House probably makes a little bit more sense, even out of context. Like, when you come into it, sometimes it's just completely like, what the fuck am I watching? What the hell is this? Because whatever. Because I came in basically when Mirror Tulip, basically the end of the Mirror Tulip episode where they find Mirror Tulip, and then she's like, oh yeah, like, oh wow, we're in a bank place. Maybe I can open up a checking account or something like that. And I'm just like, what the hell? And then the episode just ended. And then regular Tulip pulled off the mirror off of her thing. Like, there you go. You'll be fine. I'm like, wait, why is that magnet? What do you mean magnet's going to make her fine? What? What's going on? And eventually, trying to think. Eventually, like, then that was and then and I'm like, all right, I don't know what the hell I just watched. I'm gonna continue watching Steven Universe or whatever the hell show was on at the time. So then obviously later on, I started getting into Owl House and all this stuff, and like there was a post, I forgot what it was. Oh, I think it was Kipo, the Owl House, and Amphibia, and I'm like, all right, like these are the 3 best cartoons out right now. And someone said, well, what about Infinity Train? I'm like, the hell is Infinity Train? Because I didn't even know the name of it back then. So I eventually, like, yeah, it's really good. I'm like, all right, I believe you. I haven't watched it yet, but I believe you. And then, like, I saw, like, some images about it. I've heard a little bit about it. I'm like, okay, it's something to do with about a train. When I first heard Infinity Train, I'm thinking, oh, it's the dungeon from Adventure Time. The dungeon train, where it's just the same train. It's one train that is, like, infinite. It just goes around forever. And, you go from car to car and you fight monsters of different types, but it repeats. And you get, like, cool... I think it's, like, you get cooler and cooler loot and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay. And then when I heard Infinity Train, I'm like, is this basically... Did someone watch that Dungeon Train episode of Adventure? And then I'm like, are they talking about that? And eventually I saw, I'm like, oh, no, it's, like, apparently something about... The main character finds this Infinity Train, which I thought again was just a looping train, that takes her to other dimensions or something like that, or it takes them between dimensions or something like that. And then I finally actually watched it like 2 days ago, and I'm like, all right. And then I started watching. I'm like, oh my god, like people are right. This is actually freaking good. Which, if you don't know what Infinity Train is, basically it's a new version of Alice in Wonderland. Is the best way I could describe it. There's talking animals. Lessons are learned by going to a kind of like a world that is... because each card of the train basically is its own encapsulated world where I believe probably goes on for almost forever. I don't know. I haven't seen anything different. And basically the whole point is, you came in one door, you gotta leave out the other door. You can climb around the car, but that's way more dangerous. And also that this train is inside... I don't fucking know. Like some kind of its own space, but I think the space outside of the train is also a projection of one of the cars. I don't know. But basically, it's very much like very much like Alice in Wonderland or I would say the Chronicles of Narnia kind of thing, where it's like you get sent to a magical world and you learn a lesson and stuff like that, and you grow as a person, stuff like that. And I actually really like this series. And here's the thing, like in a list of like favorite cartoons, recent favorite cartoons, Kipo still number one. Kipo's the number one. Owl House would be like around there. And then I would put Infinity Train about there. Amphibia I would put a little bit down. I love Amphibia. It's good. But I think maybe the more darker a cartoon is, while also still being happy, I think is kind of where, for me, it balances out more. Like, Amphibia can get dark at times, but for me, it's more high and colorful and, happy. While you got Owl House, which is, yeah, happy and somewhat colorful, but it is also in, like, a very much darker world surrounding it. As well as, Kipo is obviously, the apocalypse. And then, this one is kind of in that same zone where it's like you can have some really dark worlds and dark things happen in this show, which is really freaking great. And like I said, I compare this to Alice in Wonderland because obviously like you have like certain characters that obviously that you learn a lesson and they grow as a person, and even like some of the storyline, even I say Alice in Wonderland handle all these, but some of the storylines like because what is it, each book, which is each season, is you follow a different character that was in some way talked about or mentioned or appears in one of the earlier seasons, which I think is really badass. Like, book 1 is Tulip's book, where her, 1-1, and Atticus, the King Corgi, that they met in Corgiville, I can't remember where, basically have to travel the train to get to the conductor to see if the conductor can let them off. And also, I forgot to mention that basically the train appears to anyone who is in need of some kind of lesson. Whether it be, learning to be a good person, learning not to not have people not always listen to people and what they tell you to do, or, get over a parent's divorce. And I'm like, all right. But, and usually, like, it's kind of in a Doctor Who style thing, too, where, the main character always gains companions throughout their journey and basically helps them and mirrors them in some way, or, helps themselves grow and stuff like that. And it's really, really cool. And the world building of it is, like, really awesome. Like, anything that happens in one season, you can really tell, like, eventually later on the line, something will be expanded upon on it. Like, oh, here's this tape that lets you see memories. Then, you're like, all right, that's weird. Why is that a thing? But okay. And that has the name of the main character. All right, that's weird. And then the next next book comes around and like, oh, like that's a way that they figured out how to put numbers, which I forgot to mention. They have, I wanted to call it a ticket, but they never call it a ticket. They just call it numbers. Basically, it's a number on your hand that either goes up or down depending on the lessons you make. You want your number to go down to 0 because then when it hits 0, that's when the door opens up and you can leave. But if it goes up, it starts acting like a curse mark. It starts wrapping around your arm until your entire body is completely filled with numbers. I don't think there's any negative effect to being completely filled with numbers, unless it's brought up later on, other than you're basically trapped on that train until you can bring your numbers down. And the worse acts you do, the more numbers appear on you. Which, it's really cool. It's really cool because, like, the numbers glow, so, like, sometimes, like, a character will do something bad, and you'll see, like, you haven't seen their number change it, because, like, it'll just, like, change randomly. It's kind of like The World Ends With You, like, number kind of thing. Except it's green glowing. It's kind of cool. But, I'm not saying that The World Ends With You one isn't cool. I love that one. And I love that idea of just the numbers on your hand. I just like, oh, shit. But, it's cool because, like, one character you'll see, like, they'll probably do something bad or something bad, and you'll slowly see, like, the numbers, like, appear on their chest and, like, around their neck. And the more worse shit they do, you just start seeing it going up, and, like, they don't even notice it. I'm like, that's cool. That is really, really cool and really good attention to detail for, like, the animation and all that stuff. It's really damn good. But yeah, like, this is really, like, book 1 is Tulip, which, I like each character for themselves. Tulip was really cool because hers was basically trying to get over her parents' divorce, meeting different characters. Her teammates was 1-1 and Corgi, and this Corgi named Atticus, as they went through the train. And I think out of, so far, the 3 books, even though technically speaking, the 3rd book, the characters have been there for, like, years, I like Tulip's one. I think is the only one where, like, it feels like she went on, like, way more cars than anyone else. Like, she was like one that went on like all the cars, not all the cars, but she went on a lot of cars. And like, cause like one episode would be like, oh yeah, wow, we did this, and the next said, wow, that spa car was good, but we spent too long in there, and it's something like I'm like, this is kind of cool. Like, I kind of want to go to this train. Like, technically, you're not supposed to want to go to the train, I think, but I kind of want to go because it's cool. It's like each car is a different adventure, and it's a really cool adventure each time. But yeah, that one is like them trying to meet the conductor. Because Tulip wants to try to get off the train so she can go home, and, you know, she slowly learns about why she's upset about her parents' divorce and all this. I mean, it's like really heavy stuff at some points. And then, and then there's like things like, and coming from someone who has parents who have been divorced, which it didn't affect me as much as it did Tulip, but it now affects me more now, if only because of like certain family issues with my mother and father, and like basically it's shit I probably shouldn't talk about on camera, but basically it's but I was like, I'm like, wow, this show's making me depressed. It's making me depressed about my own life. That's some damn good writing. I'm like, that's a damn good writing. You're making me feel depression. I'm like, all right. That was, that was cool. And book 2 is about Mirror Tulip because, and season, and I don't want to spoil too much about all that stuff, but because if you guys actually want to watch it, I don't want to actually spoil this show. And then in season 2, it follows Mirror Tulip, or Lake as she's later on called, who like basically in season 1, Tulip gets stuck in a mirror world. Which one? Tulip gets into a mirror car where everything's chrome, and her reflection looks back at her angry and goes, hey, if you touch my hand with your right hand, my right hand, we'll switch places, then I can open the door for you. And I'm just like, Tulip, don't tell me you're this stupid where you're going to fall for the, yeah, I'm going to trap you in the mirror world gag or plan. She does fall for it. And I'm like, shit. But, you know, they switch. Mirror Tulip always like, you know what? I want to leave. You know what? You can stay in the mirror world. I'm gonna go live my life because I'm tired of being your reflection. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my god, this is so unforeseen. How could this have happened? But eventually, you know, they do switch back, and Tulip helps Mirror Tulip escape the cops because there's mirror cops that basically, if your reflection goes rogue, they hunt them down and try to kill it. But Tulip is able to get Mirror Tulip out by using a mirror on her Swiss Army knife, because kids have a lot of those nowadays. But still, that was still cool. But like places it on the mirror thing. Basically, Mirror Tulip escapes with Tulip because Mirror Tulip needs a reflection, needs a reflective surface on her or touching her to be able to go into the real world, or to real world, prime world as they call it. And eventually, like, you think, oh cool, maybe Mirror Tulip will join it, and they're like, she's like, no, I'm gonna go do my own thing. I'm tired of being your shadow. I'm like, all right, cool. And then season 2, you follow Mirror Tulip, which I want to say, like, I liked her hair before because at one point she had exact same hair as Tulip, but then like one of the cops shaves her hair. And, like, it's, like, it's basically kind of like my hair, kind of like mid-length. Not, you know, this, but straighter. But it's, like, mid-length like this. And I'm like, that's a cool look. And, like, without the glasses and everything, she does look like her own character. And then the next season, like, because she's escaping the cops still chase her throughout any reflective surface, which is really cool and keeps the tension up. But then she shaves her head to where she's, like, almost bald. Or she is bald. And I'm just thinking, I didn't like it. I'm like, I didn't like it. I didn't like the design. I'm just like, that sucks. Like, you could have kept the same clothes and everything because she wears like a ripped black t-shirt, like kind of like a punk rocker kind of thing, but her head is shaved. I'm like, I don't know. Up on Twitter, apparently, they said, Infinity Train has a trans character who's trans. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, for me, myself, I was looking at that. I'm like, I can look at Steven Universe and be like, oh yeah, those gems are supposed to represent being gay. and stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, those characters are gay and all that stuff. But then you have Mirror Tulip, or Lake, as she later on called, so like the last episode, where it's like she goes by she multiple times. No one ever calls her, he, or she never tries to correct them. She never says she wants to be a boy. She just, wants to be herself. I don't know. Maybe that's coding that I myself just haven't. For me, it's just like, okay, you just want to be your own person. Like, so for me, that was way less trans and more, I just want to be my own person. I don't know. But basically, she meets this one boy who is a train passenger, and a superpowered deer that can do like everything. Named Alan Dracula, because Jesse, the boy that she meets, is a fucking idiot. And basically, it's kind of like a pseudo, like, getting chased by the cops while also trying to get Jesse off the train, while also Mirror Tulip eventually trying to get off the train as well, because she doesn't want to live, she doesn't want to be stuck there. And, like, she can't even, like, she wants to leave the train, but she can't because she's not a passenger. And, like, it's like, how does she get off the train? But that, she can't even jump off the train and go into, like, the wasteland surrounding the train, which is filled with roach dogs, which apparently later on are called Grom or Grob. I'm like, no one told me that's what they're fucking called. I just called them roach dogs. Also, also another thing, this show is not afraid to kill people. And I mean that in the sense of, like, season 1, like, there's a point where a character gets shot and you're like, oh my god, but then they really just mutated. I'm like, oh, okay, so they're not going that dark. And then you have season 2, where Mirror Tulip literally takes a man and just goes against the spinning wheel and just murders and blood spraying everywhere. I'm like, what the hell? But it's okay, because the blood is silver. We're going by gods of Egypt logic. If it's gold blood, we can be as gory as we want. Still PG-13. But season 2, it's like about Jesse trying to learn how to not be such a tool, while Mirror Tulip basically growing to know that you can be independent while also, having friends and stuff like that, and all this stuff. And it's really, really good, and, like, it's really tragic too, the stuff with Mirror Tulip, because it is like, yeah, like, you probably don't really think too much about all these characters in all these different cars some of the time, but it's like, yeah, like, some of them might be like, well, I don't want to be on the train, I want to leave, even though I was made here, I don't want to be here. And I'm like, that's cool. And then from there also, like, you meet what are they called? The Apex, which is this cultist of kids who basically want to, who basically think, oh yeah, no, you don't want your number to go down to 0, then you just disappear. You want your number to go up, so you stay on the train, because the train is for humans, not for nulls, which are the inhabitants of each car, as they call it, less than 0. She read it in a book once, the main girl. And it's like, they appear for like one episode. Actually, no, that's not true. They appeared in that one episode, but in season 1, because there's like a computer that shows all of the passengers, you actually do see the main character of the 3rd season. I'm like, who is the leader of the Apex? I'm like, that's cool. I love that. Again, like, the cool thing is, like, this makes you think, like, man, I wonder what book 4 is gonna be like. Which, go see this. I say that now. Go see it, because apparently, like, they need more views on HBO Max to get a 4th book, and it's really damn good. But yeah, like that was really good. And again, like, it gets started to that. The ending is like kind of real smart. It's kind of smart of how they got out of it. And I'm like, that's cool. And also, like, they show, like, progression always happens, because, like, at the end of season 1, like, at one point, like, Tulip walks past a mirror, but you don't see her reflection, showing that, yeah, Mirror Tulip was her reflection. Like, those are, like, supposed to be that your reflection is a living thing, which, by God, if that's the case, sorry, my reflection, but Mirror Tulip, but like, it's like, okay, so, this progression, it's not like it's a dream, no. Like, all of this actually happened to Tulip, or all this happened to Mirror Tulip when she finally gets out. Spoilers. But it is kind of smart how they kind of get out of it. And also, it's, like, really touching about, like, her and Jesse and stuff like that. Like, that's actually really cool. I like that. And third season is about, the Apex, where it's about, Grace, that's her name, Grace, and her boyfriend, what the fuck was his name? Simon? I want to say his name was Simon. And basically, again, like, their whole thing is that they believe the false conductor, which is really the actual conductor that you do meet in season 1, took over from the actual conductor, who is actually the false conductor. And they say, like, and they basically built a cult around the false conductor, the actual false conductor, the one who stole the train from the actual conductor. They say, like, your number has to go up, because that means you're the more powerful, and, like, they basically do this by going to different places and just straight murdering people, like, murdering residents, but it's okay because there's no blood anywhere. But they just start destroying, murdering, pillaging different cars. They have it down to a system. They have, like, special equipment to climb across cars or run up walls and, like, all this stuff. And I'm just like, holy shit. I'm like, this is kind of, like, if they weren't such a-holes, that's kind of cool. And basically, like, it's leading, and basically, like, and, like, they've been there for years. Some of them have been there for years. And, like, they lead other kids, like, no, you don't need your number to go down. You want it to go up. That shows you have power. Like, the train is for humans and all this stuff. The great conductor will save us and all this stuff. So basically, like, really, Grace is the main character. But basically, Grace and her boyfriend, Simon. I want to say it's Simon. I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's not Simon. Yeah, okay, it is Simon. Okay, okay. Because I'm also pretty sure he's voiced by Yuri Lothal, the guy who voices, Ben 10 and Sasuke Uchiha. So, as well, and I didn't realize until one point he's like, no! And I'm like, oh shit, Ben 10? And I'm just like, what the hell? Hold on. Infinity Train, Yuri Lothal.
These pictures should match.
Voice of Simon, Infinity Train.
Kyle McCarley.
Oh no, Kyle McCarley.
Behind the voice actors. Kyle McCarley is the voice of Simon in Infinity Train.
Hold on, wait a second. Kyle McCarley.
According to Wikipedia,
What
Kyle
cartoon is
McCarley
it?
is an
I
American
thought
voice actor known for his work in video games and anime.
maybe I thought it was Ben 10, but I guess it wasn't. Leo da Vinci. The fuck? Okay, I guess not. Maybe it was Oh, Devilman Crybaby. That's where I probably heard his voice from. Okay. Apparently. Oh, okay. Okay, that's probably where I've heard his voice from. And Durara. Okay. I thought it was Yuri Lothal. I guess not. It sounded like Ben. I'm like, wait, is that Ben 10? But yeah, this one, basically, this season, like, they get separated because the trains move, like, between different carts sometimes. And basically, they get stuck on a cart and get moved, like, far down the track. And basically, Grace and Simon have to make their way through, and then, like, basically, they hate Knowles, residents, the train, like, who are made in the carts. But they eventually meet a little wild child, which there is an archetype that I love, and it's always the little wild child. the one who grew up in the forest and, like, doesn't wear shoes, dirty as all hell, and is one of the most just adorable, as cuddliest. I need to protect this child. And that's exactly what this girl is, but I don't remember what her name is. Basically, it's her and this large gorilla named Tuba, who herself basically had. Apparently, her kids were all slaughtered. So she went on a Tarzan run. You know, when she found Tulip, you know, she basically took her in. And I'm like, that's so cute. That's so cute. And then basically Grace and Simon are trying to get the girl away from Tuba, try to wing her off the Tuba because she's like, no, Tuba has to stay with me. But they're like, come on, you can be with humans, and you get it. We figure out what's wrong with your number because she has a number on her hand, but her number is not glowing and it's just regular there. So I'm hoping that means later on down the line that means she'll be able to get off the train. Because spoilers, she kind of doesn't. But basically, like, we follow them we follow these two terrible people with trying to get this little girl away from basically her stepmother. But you slowly see like you slowly see Grace slowly start growing, and you see her number slowly go down. She's the leader because she has the highest number, but you slowly see as her number slowly going down as she learns, like, she engages with Tulip and Tuba, stuff like that. While Simon, you see like, oh yeah, like you see kind of certain things, like apparently even like Simon has a connection to a character we've seen in the past few seasons, which I would say is the equivalent of I would say if, like, let's say if there's Alice in Wonderland, there would be two White Rabbits. There would be One, because One appears in all 3 seasons. Or it would be the cat, the cat is, or I think her name is Samantha, really. The cat, which has a connection with Simon because she was basically his partner until she supposedly abandoned him, which she kind of did, but she kind of didn't because they were running away from a monster and she thought he was behind her, but it turns out that, like, he was left 2 cars behind and he was saved by Grace. I'm trying to think. The two of them slowly go. Grace slowly learns, to like, and Simon seems to grow as well a little bit, but turns out he's not. And I think technically speaking, he has the highest body count, at least murder count. But you slowly see as this goes on, and like you see like Grace, like even though she did terrible shit, you kind of slowly see her change, and she even has at one point where she has a Kabuto moment. I keep bringing up Naruto because it's the best. It's like the Kabuto moment with Itachi and all that stuff, where Izanami was used. There is a moment like that, and I'm like, and mind you, when I saw that happen, I'm like, holy shit! If this show has the balls to just kill off the character we've been loving this entire time near the end of the show, and I'm like, holy shit. I won't spoil too much, but I will say that, like, the twists and turns that happen in it are really good. You do care for Grace by the end of it. Simon is like, holy shit, crazy. Also, at one point, they find a cabin in one of these places where the cat is kind of just staying there for like a vacation, and then you see, then like one of the guys walks through the one of the main characters walks through the kitchen, and there's a bear in a robe. The bear robe's over cooking breakfast. And he looks back at him, and then he closes his robe and tightens it. And all I'm thinking, and also mind you, the cat's also in like a nightgown. All I'm thinking is, that bear is banging that cat, but by God, that poor cat. But then again, she apparently must like it. But in any case, I was like, holy shit. Yeah, and also, I think you have like the most gruesome death in season 3, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, did I just see that on a kid's show? Holy hell. I'm like, hell yeah. We need more animated shows like this. And like, even the creator said, like it's marketed as a kid's show, but really it's a young adults teen show. And I'm like, fuck, I can see anyone loving this show. Like, it's really that good. I recommend it. I highly recommend Infinity Train. It is so damn good. Go watch it. The show needs views because I want to book for. Because I'm pretty sure the ending is going to be basically the actual false conductor and and another character that I really, really love. I'm hoping that's what book 4 is going to be about. And that basically this character is going to learn how to be kind of like a mother figure to this character, as well as slowly bring the number down, and also you see like the evolution of other characters from the past, stuff like that. Because not all of that. Like I'll say this right now, not all of the endings. Not all it's very much. This show is very much in the same vein of something like Neverland, Peter Pan's Neverland, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, The Wizard of Oz. Like, if you told me at some point in this show we're gonna meet a character named Alice, or a character named Dorothy, or a character named Peter, or Wendy, it would not surprise me, because they could literally try to tie it back to oh yeah, all those places that they say that they remember. Yeah, that was the Infinity Train. It would not be too surprising. But anyways, I've already been talking for 30 minutes. The show is awesome. Go watch it. It's so damn good. It needs its views. The Mystery Shack is probably going to be closed. Well, actually, it's the 14th. I upload this today on the 14th of December. Actually, no, it might be closed now. Basically, the Mystery Shack, a place where I got Albert here. I got the Star versus Wand. All this. It sells like some Infinity Train stuff, which I finished it yesterday, Infinity Train, and I'm like, shit, I need to at least get one thing for the Infinity Train, which they have a patch for the conductor. I'm like, alright, I'm ordering that. So I ordered that, I got a patch for that. So, and I have a black military jacket at some point, because I have the Overwatch symbol, which I want to put that on the arm, put the conductor badge on here, or maybe I'll put it on the other arm, and then all the different stuff. But yeah, I got that, and once they open up again, I'm gonna get the 1/1 pin, and maybe the first book, because they were selling the DVD of the first book, which I might get that. But yeah, go check it out. It's so damn good. It needs the views. Thank you so much for watching. Which videos I've done, links are on my Facebook around there somewhere. Please check out my Cyberpunk 2077 review playthrough. It's real. I'm having fun with it. I'm trying to edit that one a lot better than I have my other series I have in the past few years. It's not getting that many views, but I would really like for you all to do that, to view that, because I'm having fun with it. My character is pretty cool. I'm trying to become basically a Jedi. But thank you for watching. Please share my videos. Hopefully you enjoy this. Check out my other videos and reactions, and we will see you later. One of my favorite lines in the Infinity Train is, "Would you please stop that? Or should I start writing your obituary?" I'm like, holy